Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Hello. It's not Monday, it's Tuesday. We did have a holiday, but I'm delighted you're here. It's good to see Jocelyn, Kathy, and Christina right at the very top of the show. Welcome. It's going to be a fun day. Hi, Alice. Good to have you here too. And Carla from Kentucky checking in. Good to have you. Anyway, cheers. Here's if Nancy's around. This is how I'm breaking my fast right now. Boy, I'll tell you what. We pickled on the pickleball court quite a bit today, and I went way over. So you can see I'm still kind of sweaty, nasty. So you guys, listen. I love you. I'm not going to be late. I'm gonna as much as I can be. Anyway. Made it in here. I'm so glad to be here. Corliss, Helen, Martha, I'm glad you're here. So good to have you here. You know, we're going to be talking about this week. I've got lots of little tidbits for you. You know what I dug up? Well, let me show it to you because I think you'll appreciate this. These are shows, and I kept them all from 2018, and I'm going to bet that you don't remember them all. So I'm going to keep going on that. Carly, Deborah, Julie in the house. Lovely, lovely, lovely to have you here. Nice. Andrea, good. Yes, you got your good. You did have a big supplement order. I saw that. That was a big monster. So anyway, we're all about it. And today's show, even though it's not Motivational Monday, we're going down the motivational rabbit hole. You know, I will say that, you know, we all at times will say, oh, I'm just not motivated, right? I've got something to say about that, and we don't want to go there anymore. Patsy, hello. I know, Andrew, we've been buds for a while. 2017, I think it's more like 2007, wasn't it? So it's been a while, and I love it when I see all my old friends, and especially those of you who've been around for a while. You've watched my kids grow up. I mean, you know, it's kind of cool. Margot in the house, lovely to have you here. So we have all of that going on. Also, thank you for the blowout sale. We blew out quite a few supplements. Most of them are gone. We still have a few left. They're back to regular price. So if you missed out, lo siento, as they say in Spanish. Sad to have you here. Sad to have you miss out. But, you know, we did a good one, though, didn't we? We even gave you an extra day. So that was good. And Amber is in the house. So's Lindsay. So's Jenny. Say hello to the dream team, by the way. And there's my girl, Tanya, also in the house. I'm excited about today's show. Like I said, I've got 10 things. If you are a note taker, today would be a good day to take notes because there's 10 really good things that are going to help you move the needle in your life. Honestly, whatever your goals are. And speaking of goals, this Monday, September 12th, that's this Monday coming up. This is your opportunity, y'all, to get to the masterclass on goals. We're going to be doing a whole thing. Where is I got 1,800 journals here. You would think I do anyway. Well, there it is. I'm telling you, it's right here. I promise you. Look. Take back your life. This is the journal that I'm doing a masterclass on. And I'm going to tell you, we start at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I will take every last question if we have to stay up till midnight. So if you have questions about this, I'm going to help you out with this. The only caveat to being at this class this Monday, September 12th is you have to have a journal. If you don't have a journal, you can't come. Okay? Invitations have been sent. If you do not have this link, because we will not be giving them out, you're going to have to write into customer service to go get your link. Okay, support@savingdinner.com. Meanwhile, go get your journal. I will sign it and personalize it to you. It will go out in the mail immediately, and you'll have it in time. That's what I think, unless you're living in, some foreign land. Anyway, you ready to get busy? There's my girl, Jackie. Did you get my message, Jackie? I sent it to you. I just want to make sure you did. All right, listen. The other thing that I'm going to go ahead and go live on TikTok. I'm going to bring TikTok on. We're going to get busy on this because this is some actionable stuff. Welcome to TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. We are talking about motivation today. I have 10 massive things that you can do to actually move the needle in your life. 10 massive things to shift the way you're thinking about motivation, what it exactly is, and to get your butt into the motivational zone. Okay? How many times have you said, I just don't have motivation? How many? I mean, I'll admit it. I've said that. I have news for you. We can create it a lot easier than we think. And we're going to talk about that because I have the things. And by the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger has the quote of the week, which is so good because this is absolutely it. You cannot climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pocket. Now, somebody give me some loves for that. I mean, come on. Isn't that the truth? Yet, how often is it that we think it should be easier than it is? We often think that way. I do all the time. It's just not. Sometimes we have to work for what it is that we want. Nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you, I don't mind that. I'll work for it. Amen. Pinkies up if you'll work for it. I will. So let's go with this. Okay. We're going to talk about it. I'm telling you. And if you don't get our newsletter, which has all of the stuff in it that you need, all of the show notes. Today's show will have notes tomorrow morning, and you'll have all these top 10 things so you can keep that actionable stuff. Amber's yelling out over here on TikTok, amen. We have to do the work ourselves. We do. Don't you wish that you could hire somebody to do it for you? You can get somebody to clean your toilet, but you can't get somebody to get you motivated, And I had one woman one time, she said, you motivate me. And I said, I don't want to motivate you. I want you to motivate you. Because if it's an inside job, it gets done. When you feel motivation inside, you get things done. But you don't necessarily have to have motivation. And I'm going to talk about that and all the different things. Because you know what the thing is? We have to connect to motivation. And we connect to motivation only because our intrinsic value that we have inside is that we want to connect and belong. We want to connect and belong. And an 80-year Harvard study, 80 years they did this study. This is incredible. It proves this point. Our well-being is 100% connected to belonging. Belonging. Now, hear me on this. This is really important because to connect to our own inner motivation, it's critical to be a part of something. A part of a community, a part of a village, a part of whatever. This is something every single person on the planet needs. It's in our DNA. It's part of who we are. So what we need to do is then understand that this belonging also is the thing that keeps our focus, that corrects our focus, that puts our focus on the thing that's important to the community. That's why it's important who you surround yourself with. Really important. So the part of this creation, what does it do? It creates a bond. It creates a sisterhood. Am I right, Nancy? Mother Hen knows this. She knows this deeply. She knows this. And so do you. How does it feel to belong? How does it feel to not belong? That's the thing. But here's the deal. Even so, to find our motivation within the community, it boils down to 10 factors. This is the part I want you to take notes on because this is the part that is the needle mover. This is the part that we can take to the bank. And I'm going to bet some of these things you've never even thought of before. Seriously. Okay, number one, it's knowing exactly what you want. Do you know exactly what you want? This is important because when we don't know what it is that we want. We're just aimlessly wandering. This is why goals are so important. This is why we do the Take Back Your Life journal. This is why I want you to own this journal and be a part of this masterclass on Monday. You know, it is that simple. Because if you don't have a hot desire, that's what I call it, a hot desire for something in your life, it's just going to be wander, 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 wander. And, you know, we don't do good with wandering. We need community. So I want you to be compelled by this idea of community and this hot desire, and be repelled by not showing up for your hot desire. When you don't show up for yourself, you know, you're basically telling yourself that you don't count. And that is truly not the truth. When you just peace out and Irish goodbye your community, I've seen it a million times in our community. When that happens, guess what? You lose out. And you tell yourself you might not say it out loud, but your brain is just saying, yeah, you just don't count. You're not that important. It's true, because we have this intrinsic need to belong, to belong. Number 2 is data-driven guides you just like the speed limit on the road. Know your numbers. You know, in business, they tell us this all the time. Know your numbers, know your numbers. I'm looking at numbers all the time. Every single day I look at numbers because I've got to figure things out. I got to figure out this amount is going to go for this over here and this amount is going to go for that over there. I have to do it. I have to do it because guess what? You don't stay in business for 21 years like we have been in business if you don't know your numbers, right? Know your numbers. So if you're trying for fat loss, for example, you got to weigh, you got to measure, you got to set up your hydration station. Everything is counted out. You got to know how many hours are you fasting before you break your fast in the morning. What are you doing? You know what, Tanya? I'm going to call you out on this. Tanya, who is over here, she's on Facebook. You know, we've got Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok going. But on Facebook, she posts daily. First of all, that's number 1, the accountability part. Secondarily, you know, in her weight loss journey of 130 pounds, she talks about her numbers. When she broke her fast, so she knows how many hours she's been fasting. She knows what she's eating. And she's now eyeballing it because she's gotten really good at this, obviously. We have to become masters of our numbers. We have to know them inside and out. Inside and out. You lose count of your numbers, you're not going to get the result that you want. So get your numbers together. Do all of it. Number 3 is motivation or a lack thereof is for your physiology. Okay, now hear me on this. And I talk about this all the time because your physiology is one thing and your psychology is another thing. And oftentimes what we do is we divorce the two and they go together like a hand in glove. Always. Have you noticed, if you look at the stats of people who go on these weight loss journeys, how many make it? How many don't? It's because their physiology and their psychology are not lined up because they both go together. We have to have both of these things working on our behalf, or we lose big time. So motivation loves a high vibe tribe, doesn't it? It does. You stand up straight. You put your shoulders back. You put that Wonder Woman pose together. You know, put your hands on your fists on your hips, and put your shoulders back and feel what it feels like to be a Wonder Woman. You know what I'm talking about. It feels different than slumped over and going, oh, poor me. Look the part. Breathe into it. Feel what it feels like to stand proudly in your own skin. It's time for us to be these type of women, by the way. So the motion's the lotion. You ever hear that? You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. True. But the motion is the lotion in that we can bring our psychology and our physiology together, no problem, if we just do a few things. Number 1, start with the posture. You see, shoulders back, what have you. It just changes our whole physiology. Also, when we're trying to break ourselves into a new habit, I've shared this with you a dozen times before, and you have a bad habit maybe of snacking after dinner, kitchen's closed. Bring this to your brain's attention and say, you know what, no more. That's enough. it's time for us to move the needle. We can't move the needle. We can't change our habits until we start changing the things that we do. Instead of slumping and back into the couch after dinner, go take the dog for a walk, or take you for a walk, or take your husband for a walk, or take, anything for a walk. Hold your glass and go take a walk. Just get out of the house. Change things up. Try dancing. The other thing is, this is all changing your psychology, right? And your physiology too. Try that. Try dancing. Turn on some music and dance and clean up the dishes after dinner. Do something very different than what you normally do when we're trying to change a habit. Because when you do, you get, and then you're motivated. That's where the motivation comes, because guess what? Motivation is never going to come knocking at your door and say, come on in, hey, I'm here. Let's go. Let's do this. Motivation is going to happen after the fact. It's going to, if you just say to yourself, I'm just going to do this. What the heck? I'm just going to go out and look at that. Joanne, this is wine in my wine glass? Not quite. It's a smoothie, honey. Lots of berries. Not exactly. Number 4 is to say something else. Okay, here's the deal. Listen, after all these years of coaching women, do you want to hear something? I hear this. I need to get motivated all the time. I just can't, because blah, 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 blah. Now, what we're doing right there is training our brain. I just need to get motivated. It's like motivation just, eludes me. I don't know. It's just out there somewhere. I just need to get it. I just need to find it. I just need to search it out, or I just can't. And your brain's like, okay, well, there you go. Let's just get back on the couch, comfort zone. So this is affirmation that we don't want. And by the way, Monday's master class that we're talking about, we're going to be talking about affirmations that will move the needle in your life. That's the goal stuff, and that's the stuff that's going to take you all the way where you want to go. And you can still watch that webinar, by the way, at savingdinner.com/goals. It's all recorded, but there's some good actionable stuff in there, and I strongly suggest that you go take a peek, see if you haven't yet. Our brain is listening. And at any point, our brain's either going to help us or it's going to deter us, because you're giving it a directive, right? So, and then you turn around and you say, see, I told you so. See, I told you I just can't get motivated. See, I told you that I just can't have that. But that is only because the training ground has been laid. Number 5 is to go for the moon and the stars. Set your sights high. Set your sights high. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. So when we limit ourselves, guess what happens? We're also limiting our motivation. We're telling our motivation to go take a seat instead of our amygdalas. And our amygdala is the fear factor in our brains. And that's the thing that we need to say, calm down. We've got this. It's no problem. Your amygdala awards you too, with the motivation, by the way. So while your amygdala is working against you at the very beginning, it will work for you if you ignore it and do it anyway. Yeah? Sounds good? So remember this, your goals need to inspire you. If you're uninspired, you're not going to get motivated. You're just going to get tired and just going to give up and Irish goodbye the whole 9 yards, right? Number 6, more action and less talk on why you can't. How often do we spend so much time explaining ourselves, right? Explaining why we can't, right? Explaining why we can't. I'm overwhelmed. Well, analyze your goal. Why are you overwhelmed? What's wrong with it? Do we need to unpack it a little bit? Do we need to whittle it down? Do we need to make it more bite-sized pieces? This isn't an elephant we're talking about. This is your goal. So if we have 12 weeks, and that's what we do in this journal, by the way, that we do 12-week goals. You want to lose 100 pounds? It ain't happening in 12 weeks, but you could lose 25, right? Does that sound doable? Of course it is. It's 2 pounds a week. It's doable. That's what it is. Number 7 is do it in the morning or as early as possible. Do you remember the whole Mark Twain thing? Mark Twain has a great quote, by the way. His quote is this: if you have to eat a frog, eat it first thing in the morning, right? Do all your frog eating first thing in the morning. And if you have more than one frog, eat the ugly one first. So this is easy. I mean, so what I have done is usually what I will do is depending on what my day is, but I set up so that I will get my exercise done first thing. I will get the things that I need to get done first thing because of often if I push it back and push it away, it doesn't happen. It just goes to the back burner and then I'll say, "Oh, I hope I do better tomorrow." That sound familiar? Sound familiar? So do your frog eating as early as possible. Number 8 is to chunk it down into several things. Like I said, you can do that, especially with a workout. If you're working out at home, oh my goodness, do your legs and go do something else, and then do your arms and then go do something else. And, just break it up. If you've only got 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. And then if you only have another 10 minutes over here, do the 10 minutes over here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. And this is how excellence gets things done. You don't have the personality to be a supportive aid, empathy of a scorpion. Thank you, Deborah. Bye-bye. Just gentle, isn't it? That's on TikTok, by the way, y'all. You get all kinds of loonies on TikTok. Number 9 is to be specific because general is blah. I mean, what are you going to do with general? General, we don't know what to do with, but specific, that's fire. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly how to narrow in and get after the very thing that you want. But when it's general, it's just like you don't even know where to go, right? That's how that whole thing works. So here's the deal, is if you can measure it or deadline it, then you can have it fit in to the hot desire of what it is that you want. Isn't that cool? We just don't think in those terms. But if we do, then we can start, weeding out the stuff that no longer fits. And we can start going after the things that exactly fit. Does that make sense? And number 10 is that habits are the cake and motivation is the frosting. I love this because if we set up our environments for success, we're not leaning on willpower. How often has willpower failed you? I can't even tell you how many times willpower's failed me. Over and over and over again. However, one of the things that happens is when I habituate something, put my workout clothes out, get everything ready, and set menus for the week, I'm going to have a good week. It just makes it so much easier. Just habituate it. Don't have a discussion about it. Just say, this is how it's going to be. Ask Tanya. That's what she's done. And that's what she says here. I know it all the time, but mindset is the reason for my continued success. Of course, that's how it works. Every single day is a reset time. Every single day you have the opportunity to take a look at what didn't work yesterday and fix it for today. That's fun. So we can habituate instead of motivate. Most of the time we can anyway. It's not something that a lot of times it's just something that we need to get done and get checked off the list. And you know what? There is nothing more fulfilling than checking off a list or crossing something off and saying it's done. Am I right? You know exactly what that's right. So don't procrastinate. Procrastination it just makes you feel rotten to the core, doesn't it? I don't know of anybody who says, oh, I procrastinated and made me feel so good. It doesn't. Procrastination just makes you feel like, oh, it's just too hard. But the other thing is I can say is don't wait for motivation. Instead, go and do one thing anyway and allow motivation to then tap you on the shoulder and say, way to go, girl. You did this. You did this, because motivation comes after the action. Now, if we can take that one to the bank, we can start feeling a little bit better about ourselves. Instead of listening to our amygdala saying, you can't, you can't, you can't, we'll say, hush, take a seat. I'm going to go do this anyway. And then you're going to get the kudos afterwards. And you'll train your amygdala into just quieting down a little bit, helping you to do whatever it is that you want. So when we connect the dots on motivations, we have 10 powerful needle movers, I think, that will make a huge difference. And you know what? That's if you use them. And that part's all on you. And I have faith in you. I believe in you. And I know that you've got this. It's just a matter of putting these things into practice. Motivation. It can really stump us up, or it can be an amazing help. Just remember, it always comes after the action. It's kind of your atta girl and pat you on the back. How do you like that? Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate all of you. Peace be with you. I will see you next, I guess, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday, Wise Women's Wednesday. And I got a little bit of something. I think we're going to be talking a little bit about vulnerability. All right, Deborah DS on TikTok. Bye-bye. Appreciate you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.